A Tyler Drake production presents A Woman of Faith, featuring Pat Helgeson. This is Pat Helgeson. She is a close family friend who runs the barn I board my horses in. She is 72 years of age and is one of 6 daughters and 1 son. During her lifetime, she accomplished many things. She was a teacher, a secretary for a state senator, married to her husband Dave Helgeson, and raised 3 children. She enjoys reading, admiring wonderful pieces of art, gardening, and seeing new places. What does faith in God mean to you?
I thought about this question because I don't know that I've ever considered what my life would be without faith in God, since I am what you call a cradle Catholic. Have you ever heard that
No,
term?
I haven't.
Cradle Catholic is someone who was baptized as an infant.
Oh, yes.
And so I've always had faith, and my family has been a family of faith and a community of faith because we went to Catholic schools, etc. But to me, it means having a higher power than you, somebody else that's above you that you can kind of rely on and go to. You're not the center of your own universe. You have to think of where you fit into the universe and God's plan for you, etc. So it kind of gives you a more realistic perspective maybe on what life is and where you should be heading with your life.
Why do you think it is important for people to have a religion or faith life?
I have often thought of this question, and I think it's extremely important for people because it gives an individual a frame of reference for their own life and their own actions. If you have a belief in a higher power and a faith that is more or less constructive, in other words, you know what it's all about, you know the tenets of that faith, then you have something to hang on to, and you can use that as a frame of reference for your own actions, your own decisions, your own life as you go through life. And it's very helpful because if you don't have that, you're kind of like a lost soul in a sense. You don't know what your actions are going to mean to anything or anybody. So I really encourage people to have a frame of reference, whatever their belief is, but they need to have some focus. And the other part of this is that we are beings that are spiritual and physical, and we need to pay attention to our spiritual side as well as our material side. And if we don't have that faith frame of reference, then we're sort of ignoring that whole part of who we are.
Mm-hmm. What was the most significant event of your faith life and why?
That's a hard one because there's so many different events that occur that you're always referencing in terms of your faith or your religion. But I could say, well, baptism, because that's what gave me the faith. Confirmation, because that's the final step of baptism when you choose it for yourself, and that's why they wait with confirmation until you're a little older. But one of the things that keep coming back to me is that time in my life when I had to make a choice of what I wanted to do with my life. Whether I wanted to enter a religious community or get married, or how I wanted to pursue. And I really couldn't think it through, couldn't make up my mind, and maybe I was too young at the time. But I decided to leave it in the hands of the Blessed Virgin Mary, who I was really devoted to. And I prayed about it and just said, you'll take care of this decision. If I'm meant to go a certain way, then I will know that. I sort of put it on to the higher power, if you will, which freed my mind of anxiety, and then I was at ease with, what I went ahead and how I pursued my life after that, because I figured that I turned it back to God, and He answered in His own way.
What do you wish someone would have told you about life when you were my age?
Oh dear. I guess maybe to tell me that life wasn't necessarily going to be a bed of roses no matter what you choose to do. Because I think when you're young and idealistic and you have your whole life ahead of you, you tend to think that somehow it's going to be a dream world and everything's going to turn out just wonderful and you live happily ever after, etc. And I found out over the course of many years that everybody who goes through life has problems. They're just different from one another. Everybody has things they need to overcome. Everybody has moments of happiness. Everybody has moments of sadness, and that no life is perfect. And we have to accept the imperfections and the faults along with the joys and the perfect moments that we get, and put it in the hands of God and say, if this is the way you want, if this is what needs to happen at this point in my life, so be it. But to accept those things and then to move on to improve from our imperfections or faults that we encounter.
What words of wisdom would you like to share with me today?
Lots and lots and lots. So I have to kind of choose at this point, but one of the things I always used to tell my own kids, always be yourself and be true to yourself, and then you can't be false to any man, like anybody else, meaning generically man. But you have to know yourself in order to be true to yourself. So it's really important to have a good understanding of who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, and then try to learn how to live with yourself so that you don't run up against any stone walls where you don't know how to handle problems or how to manage, but just to be true to yourself in all instances. And I think that gets you through a lot of problems. And there are lots of other things I could say that are like platitudes, but that's one thing that I've always considered important, to know yourself.
I would like to thank Pat Helgeson for being the subject for my video and for being such a tremendous role model to me. You are so inspiring, and I hope to remember your words of wisdom in my everyday life. Thank you so much.